self-medicating with illegal medical marijuana.
Love you.
I love you too.
24-year-old Daniel Haslam is celebrating his first wedding anniversary with wife Elise. But Dan's young body is riddled with cancer through his bowel, his liver, his bones.
I just like to rejoin society, not worry about everything that I'm worried about. I don't want to think about death constantly and being sick. I don't feel sick. I want to get old.
On his 12th round of brutal chemotherapy, medical marijuana is the only thing that dulls Dan's chronic pain and nausea. He would like to get it from the chemist in a measured dose, but for now, it's up to him.
I've just got to do it. But I'm not proud of it, and I'm not happy about having to do it.
But we need to do it.
What choice do we have?
Daniel's police officer dad ironically headed up the drug squad in Tamworth, and his mum was a nurse.
I know that every police officer that I would speak to would be supportive of me. I know that without a fact.
To go from someone who's never ever smoked marijuana, never really seen it, to suddenly thinking, oh my God, I've got to buy some marijuana for my son.
Having seen what I've seen and the results that we're getting, nothing will stop me from continuing to work to bring cannabis medicines into the mainstream and as soon as possible.
Andrew Catalaris was a respected doctor for 23 years, until he was deregistered for making and providing medicinal cannabis oil. Andrew says the oil comes from marijuana plants that do not produce a drug high, but legally, every day he risks jail.
Without exaggerating, it's a matter of life and death for hundreds and probably thousands of certainly children and adults in this country.
Mum, take your footprint, right?
Like tens of thousands of Australians, 2-year-old Larissa Seary has epilepsy. Her multiple seizures can't be controlled.
She was on so many medications. Half of them were opiums, which is like being a heroin addict at 2 years of age. Then trying to wean them off to start new medications which would fail her again.
Larissa's constant seizures have left her blind and deaf.
When we first mentioned medicinal cannabis to Larissa's neurologist, he just laughed at us. He told us that there is no evidence supporting it's working.
Within 2 days of Larissa's parents giving her illegal medical marijuana oil, they say there was dramatic change.
Previously, Larissa was having 45 to 50 seizures a day, lasting anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes. And now with the tincture oil, some days she can have none, some days she can have 5.
Clearly, there are many Australians desperate to use medical marijuana, but across Australia, it remains a crime. For some, like Michelle Whitelaw, whose son Jai suffers up to 500 epileptic seizures a day, the risk is too great.
I was sent some medical cannabis to trial on Jai. We had a meeting with our neurologist and we were told that if we administer this medication, we take the chance of being reported to docs to get out.
But the opiates he has to take at the moment blur his already struggling brain.
There are no drugs for Jai. Surgery is not an option and nothing has helped. People die every day. Seizures take lives. Every single day someone's losing a child with epilepsy.
Scared about what the authorities would do, she got rid of Jai's cannabis oil.
The temptation, if it was left here in the house, would be way too much. It could give us seizure control that nothing else can. But I can't take that risk with a knock at the door. It's as simple as that.
Around the world, medical marijuana is increasingly being researched and legalised, including in 22 states in America. And in New South Wales, a parliamentary inquiry recently endorsed the use of medical marijuana in specific medical situations. However, the advice was rejected by New South Wales Health Minister Gillian Skinner. In a statement, she told us that the quality and safety of these products cannot be guaranteed, and there are safe and effective medications currently available for these conditions.
I feel my son will die if not given this option for medical cannabis.
I don't want it to be so hard. I don't want to feel like a cook.
I'd like to see someone in the government have a child like Larissa, or even half of what Larissa's going through, and get to every option and it's not good enough, and then come across medicinal cannabis and say, no, you're not allowed to have it, it's illegal. I'd like to see what they would do.
It's a really tough one, this one, because we all think of marijuana in very specific situation. It's an illegal drug that's used by people potentially that have a criminal background. What we need to do is challenge that thinking. We need to put it in a place where we think about what's actually medicinally useful within cannabis. Yeah. In the US, they've already authorised 2 drugs to be used as oral medication. It's in Spain, Finland, Germany. They've made this legal for the simple fact they put it aside and put marijuana over here and then started looking at the medicinal purposes that they can use marijuana for. And I mean, they're tough stories to argue against.
And maybe, and maybe they need to rebrand it, because marijuana as a name, as a brand name, has a lot of negative connotations, and maybe they need to move to more the medicinal name when they refer to it in the public to help change sentiment.
You're spot on. They're cannabinoids, which is, I mean, it's a technical term, but that's what they need to start doing. Opium comes from a poppy. It makes heroin. It also makes Panadine and Panadine and opiates that we use for pain relief. We need to start viewing it in a different light and start testing it.
Yeah, heartbreaking story when you hear those parents' accounts. And Daniel Haslam is also trying to get young people to see their doctor if they think they have symptoms of bowel cancer. And Dan thought, of course, that he was too young to be a victim, but sadly that wasn't the case. So you'll find details of Dan's website and some information where he's running a petition for the legalisation of medical marijuana all on our website.